everyone. Welcome to Late Night Snack. I'm Allison Kinnear, and it's not really late night. It's actually kind of late afternoon snack. And the reason why that's happening is because I'm going to be traveling tonight. I'm going to be just touching down on an airplane around 9 o'clock when I would normally go live. For those of you just joining us, a Late Night Snack is a time where I talk about self-care and parenting and just life. And tonight I'm going to be talking about parenting. I keep glancing over here because this little thing, painter's tape, it's going to come in handy. I'll tell you more about that. But first, let's talk about traveling. So many of us are traveling, right? And many of us are traveling with children, whether you're on an airplane or you're in a car. There is going to be a time, perhaps for you this summer, where you are trapped in some kind of vehicle for several hours and until you reach your desired destination. And for many of us, even as adults, right, traveling can be uncomfortable. Traveling can be a discomforting thing. Your body gets stiff and a little bit achy. It's easy to get grumpy. It's easy to get bored and tired really quickly. We as adults struggle with this. And then we have really young children who struggle with this, but they haven't learned the techniques that we have learned to help ourselves manage that discomfort. So for children, they are going to express themselves quite clearly around the things that are bringing them discomfort. Boredom, being stuck and locked into a car seat or locked in an airplane. The questions of when are we going to get there and how much longer. Those kinds of things are naturally going to come up. So one of the first recommendations I have is just know this. And just know that this is going to be, it's uncomfortable for everyone, right? And so what we can do is, because many of us have experienced that discomfort that comes with travel, you can think about what are the strategies that you use when you are feeling uncomfortable while traveling. So as an adult, we do things like sleep, maybe if you're able to sleep. We do things like look out the window. We do things such as distract ourselves, listen to music, listen to a book on tape, things like that to help ourselves just get through it. I used to live in Germany, and whenever I wanted to go home to California, it was a 12-hour flight. And I will tell you the first few hours, actually the first 8 hours, I was able to kind of like handle it. And when there were 3 hours left, 3 to 4 hours left, I thought I was going to lose my mind. I thought I was going to go absolutely crazy. And I don't know if any of you have experienced those super long trips where you're just stuck. And at that moment, you got to really dig deep, right? To get through it. So what is great is that because we've experienced some discomfort ourselves, we can then help use those strategies to support our kids. So, and I want to share some of the tips that I have collected or friends have shared with me. And I also want for you, if you have great tips around traveling with children, to put them down below, because I think this is where we can crowdsource and put a lot of great minds all together. So let me talk about this, because this came up. There's a group of women that I have dinner with once a month. They're amazing. And one of them was saying she read about painter's tape and how you can, and I think this can work in a car as well as an airplane. You can give a child painter's tape. And what's great about it is that they can stick it to anything, and it's not going to leave a residue like stickers will. So she was talking about how her daughter was occupied for a very, very long time, taping everything in sight on the airplane, taping shut the entire airplane window, and then ripping it off. Tape and young children is amazing, especially tape that does not leave a residue, right? You can kind of give it to them and say, have at it. Another thing that I think about, I know has worked for our children when it comes to takeoff and landing. Some woman in front of us at an airplane ride gave me this tip. My kids were really young. I think at the time my daughter was 2 and my son was a baby. And so he was great because he could breastfeed up and down, on the airplane when you're taking off for the pressure in the ears. But my daughter was too young for gum. I didn't feel comfortable with her having gum. And the woman in front of us had a bag of Skittles. And it still gives that chewing sensation like gum will, but it can pop the ears, which I love. And so now my kids only get Skittles, they only get Skittles at Halloween, or if somebody gives them a bag of Skittles, or when we fly. And what's great about Skittles too is you can just kind of parse them out throughout the trip. If they start to get a little squirrely, you can be like, oh, here's another one. So if you're not a big fan of gum chewing, or if your children are too young to chew gum, but they're still old enough to be able to chew foods, giving them some Skittles can be a really helpful, or anything that kind of gets them chewing. I'm sure anything that is that kind of chewy texture. Another thing that we love, especially for car trips, is books on tape. And if we're going just kind of a relatively short amount of time, within a month, we'll rent them we'll borrow them from our library and just listen to books on tape. And it's a great way to engage children's minds without all the screen time. So I know our kids will listen to books on tape again and again and again and again. It can drive you a little nuts, but hey, you can hear the story. Usually they're done well enough. There's been a few that I recommend. Kevin Henkes is an amazing children's author, and he's going to be really great for that. I'll tell you, even my 7-year-old loves, and she's almost 8, that 2 to 8-year-old range. Kevin Henkes is, there's a collection of his books on tape that are really well done. Arnold LaBelle has a collection of stories on tape that's really amazing. William Steig has a collection of stories on tape that are also really great, really great. William Steig might be more for the older children, maybe that 4 and up. And Arnold LaBelle might be a little bit younger. But take a look. See what's out there, either on Amazon or on Audible or on, wherever, at the library, wherever you get your books on tape possibilities. It's amazing what can be done. And it's, you can have the book or you can not have the book. You can just listen to it. Another thing that I know for me, we don't do much screen time at home. We try to keep it pretty limited and make sure the kids go outside as much as possible. But we will introduce screen time, particularly on airplanes when there's not always things to look at through the window. And I will tell you, my son watched a show on our cell phone that had no sound coming out of it. He just stared at it because technology was so new for him. So it's just something to consider. There's a lot of reasons to minimize screen time, but I will tell you it really helps with traveling because my kids get excited about 2 things when we travel: Skittles and screen time. And that's if we're going a long distance, right? Especially if we're in an airplane. And of course there's all the things like I Spy. There's a game, oh, I wish I brought it up here. It's a game called Auto Bingo when they're older, where they can play bingo. It's oh, I spot a cow, I spot a mailbox, and they can kind of mark it off as they go. For younger children, of course, it's going to be a bit of a struggle, especially because they're kind of strapped in. But also for younger children, hopefully, your kids will fall asleep too for parts, for long stretches. Oh, and the other thing too that I want to say about airplane rides that I've heard from many of my friends: do not forget to pack extra clothes, not only for your child, but also for yourself. The volume of friends that I have who have had children pee on them, poop on them, and vomit on them on an airplane ride is more than it's enough to make you just pack an extra shirt and an extra pair of pants, not only for your child, but for yourself, something that you're going to wear. So you're not wearing, like a t-shirt from whatever airport you landed in. It will save you. I want to see exactly what I see. Some people are on here and I really want to, bring things. Let's see. Hi, Mom. Hi, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Hi, Lauren. Yes. Hi, Abby. I'm going to give it to my 9-year-old next week. What are you going to give to your 9-year-old, Abby? I think you wrote that when I was talking. Smart to borrow from the library. Yeah, definitely. It saves you from having to buy something. It's so helpful. And what you can do is, if you're a planner, you can find some, if you want to do like an interlibrary exchange, you can borrow some audio CDs from the library, download them if you have that ability on your computer, and then make your own CD. Things like that can be really helpful. And I also noticed from Amazon, you can get a lot of those audiobooks for free. You can just download it directly. Let's see, the Magic Treehouse books on CD. Oh yeah, especially for the older ones, Abby, like what you have. Got Across the Country. Yeah. Along with Little House audiobooks and The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Perfect, because I know your son is older, heading to middle school. And yeah, there's a lot of great storybooks for the older ones. For the younger kids, things by Dr. Seuss, oh gosh, my kids were addicted to, it's the author, Abby, you might know, it's the author that does the, Three Little Pigs, Three Little Kittens Who Lost Their Mittens. He kind of retells all those stories. Great illustrations. The Kittens Who Lost Their Mittens. It's a really short book, but I will tell you, my kids listened to that from our drive from California to Washington. The struggle is real, Lauren says. She was great until 14 months, and I'm done for a season. Yeah, so toddlers are going to want to be moving, and that's hard for car rides. Airplane rides, it can be better because you can move around, but only at certain times, right? Oh, the blue tape, Abby. That's what you're going to bring. Blue tape. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I wonder what an older child will be able to do with this. I bet he can make some pretty amazing things. Yeah, so for toddlers, Lauren, the distraction is kind of the name of the game. Something else that people have talked about, especially for the younger ones, which could be really nice. Lauren, you could buy some painter's tape, wrap it in wrapping paper, and, like little things like this. Wrap it in wrapping paper, and they can unwrap their gift. On the airplane. It just kind of like buys a little time and again creates that mental stimulation. And you're right, flying can be harder because first of all, there's more people watching you and you can't get out. You can't like stop, pull over and deal with it like you can in a car. In a car, you can take your time and you're just, whatever your child is doing, it's only you that you're exposed to. And so with toddlers, let me see here. I brought so many baggies of new toys and things the last time. So good on the tape. Yeah, keeping them engaged, keeping them moving as much as possible. Toddlers just need to move. They don't like to be strapped in, and especially on airplanes, it can be really hard. Post-it notes and stickers are great to keep them busy, for sure. All those sticky things, right? Like, I think about also the wiki sticks, those like waxy things that can stick together. Those are also really nice. Basically what these things are open-ended materials, right? Like materials that you can use that children can kind of manipulate in a lot of different ways. And the social pressure is real. So thank you for that, Lauren. So when we're traveling on an airplane, the social pressure can be really hard. And I think what most people are looking for is that they're looking for, are you doing things? Like, are you doing things to help your child? And which you are, right? Yes, it can be hard and it can be annoying. And you know what? They can go and buy those noise cancellation headphones if that's like an issue for them. They can find another way for them to deal with sounds around them. That is their problem. Your problem is to attend to your child and make sure that she's as comfortable as possible. And, I'll tell you, my daughter screamed from New Jersey all the way to California on an airplane ride, and we landed, and she said, "That was fun. Can we do it again?" And I will tell you, the whole cabin erupted in laughter because it was such a miserable experience of me trying to let's do this. It was like song and dance time for me. So we have to do things to take care of ourselves, right? This is like, rub your chest. It's going to be okay. You have to make sure you are hydrated, you are taken care of. It's really easy to put all of our focus on making sure our child is taken care of, but we also have to make sure that we are doing things to take care of ourselves. If we can tap out, we can tap out. If we can shake, get out of your airplane seat and shake things off and be like, it's going to be okay. You can pray, you can just do what you need to do to get yourself grounded and as settled as possible. Sometimes when I fly, to keep me grounded, I'll bring a rock with me and hold it on in my hand. It comforts me, right? So we have to do our work as well so that we can help our children learn these new skills, because that's what we're doing. We're teaching them new skills to manage boredom, to manage discomfort. So I wish you all amazing, safe travels. Ooh, Magnadoodle. Hold on a sec. Abby says, what's a Magnadoodle? Is that where you draw? Like the magnet thing that you draw on? I would imagine something like that. Anyway, put your comments. If you have really great tips for any age of your children, put it down below. Let's share each other. Let's pull the wisdom of the community together. Anyway, I wish you safe travels if you are traveling, and if you're not, you can just be like, whew, not traveling this time. And I wish you a wonderful night of uninterrupted sleep tonight and always. I will see you next week, but I want to let you know that I won't be doing this on July 4th or July 11th. I'm going to take a 2-week hiatus. We are going to be traveling at that time, and on 4th of July, I'm sorry. We all got better things to do on 4th of July. And the following week, I'm going to be at a family reunion, so I'm just taking that whole week off. So I will see you next week, but then after that, it'll be 2 weeks off. All right. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Abby, for all the discussion. And I will see you later. Bye.